Hi everybody, it's Jennifer here from Hybrid Rasta Mama, and let's talk about coconut oil stains today. If you're a coconut oil fanatic like I am, you've probably seen something or another at some point with coconut oil. For me, it's usually something like an article of clothing or a pillowcase. Those are usually my culprits that get coconut oil on them. But I've found a pretty effective way to get coconut oil stains out of most clothing and linens. So today I am sharing that with you. Nobody likes oily marks, and this actually could probably work for quite a bit of different oil type stains, although I personally have only used it for coconut oil stains. So really, if you can catch it fresh, that's ideal. The first thing you want to do if you're able to catch something fresh for a new spill is take some paper towels or anything that's a plain white towel, because coconut oil actually can remove dyes from fabric. So you don't want to use anything that has a dye in it. So blot out the excess coconut oil with plain white towels, paper towels or cloth. After you've blotted up all the excess coconut oil, take baking soda, or you can even use arrowroot powder or cornstarch, and sprinkle it generously all over the stain. Sprinkle more than you think. You really want to get that totally saturated with either the baking soda, arrowroot powder, or cornstarch. Now you want to let it sit on the stain for at least 10 minutes. And what you're looking for, you want it to turn sort of a light brown color, and this is going to happen as it begins to soak up the oil. So make sure that you wait for sort of this light brown color to appear. It might be kind of like a yellowish brown. If you're dealing with a really deep soaked in bad stain, then you're probably going to need to continue to add more baking soda or arrowroot powder or cornstarch. Because if the stain itself and where you've sprinkled that, if it starts to turn brown very quickly, you're definitely going to want to add more, and just keep repeating this until it takes almost that full 10 minutes to turn brown. So like I said, you really, if you can, in the first 10 minutes, if it takes that whole time for it to start to change color, then that's great, you're done. But if it very quickly starts to change color, keep adding more of the baking soda or cornstarch or arrowroot powder. So once you have that all soaked up and you have a nice brown color to your mixture there, you're going to want to take something like a credit card or a really thin but sturdy piece of cardboard, and you're going to actually scrape all of that baking soda, cornstarch, whatever you're using. You're going to want to scrape that off very carefully, dump that into the garbage, and then wash the clothing on the hottest possible setting. And I know that kind of stinks for certain clothes or linens, but the hot water actually helps melt out the remaining oil. And then if you happen to have an oxygen bleach type of product, then you'll want to add that to the load. Not a regular bleach, that oxygen bleach. And I have a link in my blog post to the one that I use and that I feel works very well. And then you just dry the clothes as normal and the stain is gone. Now, if you have, say, a stain on carpet or upholstery or even some wood floors, the first thing you want to do is boom, right away, of course, blot up all of your excess coconut oil and put down your baking soda, your arrowroot powder. And then instead of scraping it up, you vacuum up the excess. But then what you want to do is you take a warm towel, a towel that has been soaked in warm water, and then you wipe up either the carpet or the wood floor or the upholstery, because you obviously can't throw it in the washer. So the same basic method applies to that. You just at the very end vacuum up the excess and then use this warm towel soaked in water in order to get the rest of the stain up. Now usually the people that contact me are asking about an older coconut oil stain, not a new one. So if you've discovered that you have an old stain, or you found my blog post and you're like, hey, what should I do here? It's not 100% guarantee, because once oil is kind of set in there, especially if you've laundered it normally, it's a little more difficult to get out. But this is what I've done, and I've had a decent, I'd say 50-50 percentage here in terms of having this work. So basically what you do is take about 6 ounces of that oxygen bleach. You want to use a powder form, and you add it to 1 gallon of hot water. Stir, make sure it gets completely dissolved, and then you place the stained article of clothing or linen or whatever in the bucket of that solution and completely immerse it. Soak it for about 2 hours or so. I sometimes totally forget about it and 5-6 hours later come back and it's fine. But basically the point is, if you soak it for a couple of hours, the stain should be pulled out at least somewhat. You're going to definitely have a reduction in the stain, even if it's not completely gone. And then of course just follow by washing the clothing or the linen or whatever it is as normal. I tend to also like to do the hottest wash setting just for that one time, again to try to melt any residual coconut oil. It's a little tricky to adapt this to, say, carpet or upholstery, but again, you can mix up the solution and you just soak the stained area with it as you normally would. But after an hour, you want to really rub vigorously. And I like to, at this point, it sounds kind of funny, but I like to use steel wool on my carpet or upholstery and really rub it. And oftentimes that helps pull out that stain from carpet or upholstery quite well. And then you can allow it to air dry, or you can take a blow dryer and try to dry it up. Either way is fine. I'm super paranoid about mold, so I really never like to let, things air dry in the house if at all possible. So definitely totally safe. Go ahead and use a blow dryer on that. So really that's it. It's pretty simple. You just need a couple tools, basically your baking soda or your arrowroot powder or your cornstarch, and then oxygen bleach. So hop over to my site, see what products I use. But other than that, that's about it. All right, until next time.